Hey everybody, welcome back. Starting over right now with Camille and Gretchen. We're so excited to, we've been videoing and talking. I used to interview Camille when she was on ABC here. She was the relationship expert. And so I literally have been interviewing you for years.
I know, right?
And, and now I just kind of roped her into this because I'm like, hey, we should do a podcast. But starting over, you want to talk about the genesis of why we even started this?
Yeah, well, we both are into making a difference in people's lives. And we have a lot of people around us that are going through a lot, and ourselves included. We've kind of gone through our own stuff, but we really want to help people. And what we've been kind of good at bantering back and forth is figuring out how to help people start over, whether it's a relationship or whether it's on themselves. I think everybody's kind of starting over all the time, don't you?
I think every day we start over.
Yeah.
I was just writing this morning. I was like, you know what? Today is a new day of new feelings. It's a day of new intentions. It's a day of new doors. It's a day of new thoughts. Really every day, I hope we start over. I hope we're not in just a stagnant place that we just kind of let life happen. Yeah. Starting over, to me, when you take it personal, is all about what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want to create?
Well, in our own personal journeys, right? Careers and, things we went through in our private lives. If we couldn't start over, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to make it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, instinctively, we all have a desire to improve or to repeat things that work or to be happy. Really, if you think about the human basic need of emotions is love and to be happy.
That's right.
And so starting over, none of us are stuck. We're not stuck
That's right.
into a predetermined life.
That's right.
We get to choose what we want. And even if you're laying in bed with cancer, you still can choose a happy thought.
Agree.
You still can choose in a relationship something good about that person.
And you can. And look, I think that there's something called autonomy. Look, autonomy is that you have the freedom to choose, right? Look, we all have autonomy. We might forget we have autonomy. And and sometimes people lean on us. Hypothetically, you're in a marriage, you love your kids, you're sick of your spouse. If you can't work on that relationship, you still can work on how you handle that relationship, right? So if you are sick with cancer, laying in bed, you can still work on how you handle that moment, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we've talked about too. Is it's really how we approach our life issues, because life's going to life on everybody. Life does life on everybody. So if you're going to let it beat you or bring you down. That both of us, I think, have that's what we both do. Is we're not going to let something beat us down. We're going to choose a different path and be triumphant over it.
Right.
You look at what you went through with your personal issue with cancer. That could have broke you. That could have stopped you. That stops a lot of people, and it's not easy. But you were triumphant over that, and I know you, and I know it's because you just said, I'm going to take this on. And you weren't fighting it. You weren't hating it. You just weren't, it wasn't going to dominate you. You're going to still maintain yourself and live true to you, right?
One of the things that I really learned a lot during cancer, and so my book that I'm writing it's called My Gift of Cancer. And I thought to myself many a times, and still to this day, I think it's a reminder that we need to always, give ourselves a break. Mm-hmm. We have got to stop talking so negatively about ourselves, or I'm not good at this, or this has never happened for me. Why would it happen for me now? It never has. My parents didn't have it. It's not going to happen to me. Or
that victim mindset, right?
I always attract this type of a relationship or this type of a person. And yet the truth is we can change all of that. We change that by what we focus on. And so I know, like, for instance, with cancer, I couldn't make it go away overnight. Mm-mm. I couldn't make chemo, not take my hair and, all of these things. But what I could focus on is, what do I have in my life that brings me joy? What do I have that I can focus or think on that makes me happy? So maybe you don't have your dream job yet, but maybe you're driving a car that you really enjoy. Or, maybe you don't have your dream job yet, but you really have a great relationship with your neighbor or your kids or whatever. Maybe you don't have your dream job yet, but maybe that food or that meal that you just ate tasted really good.
Yeah.
So as you focus on other things that have nothing to do with what you're trying to bring into your life or manifest into your life, when you focus on those other things, guess what you do? You actually allow that energy to come to you.
That's right.
Taking ownership
Yes.
of what you want, not feeling sorry for yourself when you
Right.
don't have it,
Yeah.
and then allowing things to come.
Well, 100%. And you know, what you were talking about is not letting yourself become a victim of it, right? Because the second you say, why is this happening to me? What's happening for, and you are at the effect of that. You have no power. Now that's easy. I'm gonna tell you something, that's easy. People can go, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't fight it, you know. But if you actually say, well, what can I do? I can choose to focus on something else. I can choose. You're at the moment of choice always. You know, like people could be dying in a plane crash. I know this is, you know, dramatic, but you can choose your attitude as you go down, okay? And what you think about the last moments of your breathing body. I want to remember my children, remember the love I have. You can present something for yourself, right?
I think one of the most precious gifts that we have as humans are our feelings, because our feelings are the indicator of what's either happening or what will happen. So when, you know, I'll just relate this back to cancer. Chemo, before I even had chemo, was kind of a scary word. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't really hear a lot of pros other than the fact it saves your life, for Christ's sakes, you know, but you don't focus on like, oh yeah, I'm going to lose my hair and I'm going to probably throw up and whatever. I thought to myself, you know what? Like, it's there. I know it. I know this is happening. I know it can happen, but that's not where I'm going. Yep. And what we're all trying to say, what Camille and I are trying to say is, you know how you feel, and then you're not subject to staying in that moment. You can choose a different thought. It may not be easy, but it may not have to be, okay, I have cancer, so now I'm going to pretend and feel like I'm better and I'm healthy, and maybe you just feel like shit and you don't feel that way. Yep. We get that. That's not what we're saying. But what does make you happy? You know, I really love to look at pictures of flowers, or I love gardening, or I love to fish. I love this book. Those are things that takes your mind in a different direction, that now all of a sudden you're not focused on the thing you're upset or worried about. Yeah. And what does that do initially is it just allows more good to come to you, because you don't have a resistance block up.
That's right. Well, and whatever you resist is going to persist anyway. So if you're fighting something, again, who are you really fighting? You're fighting yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So then that's I think one of the secret sauces here is that you really want to care and have the grace for yourself. If you slow down and just kind of go, you know, I'm going to, you know, the obstacle's the way, according to Marcus Aurelius, right? So the obstacle's the way. So when the obstacle presents itself, this is what you're growing from. This is what's sharpening you. This is what's building you, is the obstacle that's now in the way. Cancer was an obstacle. And how you deal with it, how you handle it, is really what you do have control over, right?
Yeah, with anything.
That's it, exactly.
With absolutely anything. Yeah. So let's say that your job situation sucks. You know, you still have the control over how you feel about things. Yeah. And it may not, you know, immediately change the outcome of why your job sucks, but you have the control of how you feel. There is no assertion. No one is asserting a feeling upon us. We choose to feel how we want to feel. That's right. And when we have moments where we're like, this sucks, or I don't like this feeling, it does us good if we can stop and say, I'm fine-tuning right now, and I'm going to be given a chance to level up. Yeah. Not level up against someone else, but level yourself. Up for me. Yeah. Yeah. And so life is about leveling up. How do we want to look at it? Yeah.
Well, and life, again, everybody goes through something in life. We're here for, it's education, it's school. Life is school. But if you don't realize that you could change your mood, you can change your emotion, that you don't have emotions, or you have emotions, they just don't have you. You know, these thoughts, you have thoughts, they don't have you. You have cancer, it doesn't have you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that distinction that you're bringing is you decided how you were going to handle it. One way or the other. We don't have control over the outcome, always. We don't. We do have control over how we go through the process of it, how we learn. And I think attitude of gratitude is, you know, it's cliche, but it's real. And I think if you have gratitude, and you, like you're saying, you're finding gratitude in every little moment. You know, remember the stories of the little hummingbird that would come find you, right? Just little sacred spaces, right?
It's really true, y'all. If you train your mind, which means you train what you think and then train what you speak about. If you can train your mind, and you can, all of us can. It doesn't matter what state we're in. We don't have to, you don't have to feel good in order to have things work out for you. You don't have to have, well, you kind of, I mean, you do have to feel good because you have to have that momentum going. But I'm just saying you don't have to wait for something to occur and then feel good about it.
That's right.
Because that's actually not offering faith. That's saying a condition. I'm going to feel better when I get this response.
I hear that all the time. Well, when I get here, when I lose weight, when I get the, and I stop my clients, I'm like, how about do that now? And then you can still feel good when that happens, but be right here, right now with that.
Yeah.
Because don't wait for yourself for the success. You can have success right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even if you're looking for, say, success in your career, you've got to look at other things in your life that you are successful at.
Yep.
You know, maybe you do a really great job doing your hair every day.
Makeup.
Applaud yourself for that. You know, maybe you're really good at, keeping a clean house. Maybe you're really good at managing people in your job. Whatever it is, find other things that you're good at. And guess what that does? That brings in that momentum.
Yeah.
So everything that we want is based upon momentum. If we are in a situation where we are finding ourselves in a state of appreciation, you find more things to be appreciative of, more things will come to you. Everything is energy based. And this is what makes sense to me. I grew up in a lot of different denominations.
Yeah, a lot of religions,
in a Christian faith. And I still believe in all of that. But what I have learned is God is not up there saying, Gretchen, are you going to be worthy today for me to actually give you this blessing that I have pigeonholed for you?
Right.
No, God is saying, hey, are you open to receiving? What channel is open for you?
Yeah.
If you're in a state of fear or depression or, you're anxious, you don't have that openness.
No.
You don't have that receiving openness. But when you are in a state of happiness, or you're finding joy, or you're singing, or you're doing a cartwheel in your living room, and you've got a feeling that feels right, then you're in an open space.
Well, and I think what you're pointing to is moods predict the future, right?
Definitely.
If you, how many times, I don't feel like that. I don't know if I want that. That doesn't feel right. We live our lives on our feelings, okay? And our guts, I think, are usually right on. That's probably one place you can always trust, right? Is your gut hunch. But when you have a mood, like that mood precedes everything. If you're in a bad mood, you're probably going to have a bad day. So that's why we're saying decide that you're going to choose to have a different mood. Now, what if you're stuck in a mood? What if you're like, yeah, but Gretchen and Camille, I'm terrified. I've got anxiety. I can't help it. My body or I am racked with cancer, and I don't know how to get to a place. I see nothing but black. I see nothing but dark. Okay, so if you're stuck in that moment, if you feel like there's no way out for you, don't fight that. Give yourself grace even in that moment. And the win for you, honestly, is just that you can even be with that level of darkness and level of pain right there, that you're not going to fight yourself. Accept that is a reality. That's a fate. That's a mood. And the more you resist that mood, the more it's going to persist. So when you stop fighting yourself, even if you're scared, even if you're sad or angry, allow yourself the grace to be that. Give yourself permission to feel. Just don't stay stuck there. I mean, you're traveling through that. You just don't want to move in with the anger and the rage, right?
Actually, we've talked about this before, and it's so what you're saying. There are different emotions. And so what we call moving up the emotional scale.
Yes.
So maybe you're in fear, but anger is better than fear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you can move into that. You can't pivot your emotions and go from, sad, depressed, anger, and then all of a sudden be happy.
Yeah.
We're not wired that way, but what we can do is shift. We can pivot and we can shift. And so when we shift in a way that brings even just one level up, to maybe you get to a point where you're hopeful.
Yeah.
I know that we've had times in prayer where we're like, God, I don't know how this is all going to work out, but I really hope it will. That feels better than saying, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So give yourself, like Camille's saying, give yourself the grace. Give yourself the time to be like, I am where I am right now. And where I am right now is just fine.
Yes.
And I'm not going to stay here.
That's it.
I'm not going to stay here. It's starting over. I'm not going to stay here. I can always get better. And, when you sleep, your momentum stops.
That's right.
So if you physically can't get out of it, take a nap.
Yeah.
Allow that momentum to stop and then pick up and try again.
So in closing, when we look at life experiences and what we're all going through, you do have the ability to choose your responses and how you handle things. That's what we're kind of working through ourselves, and we want to help you, inspire you to also handle your life differently and know that you do have the power. You have choice.
We love that. We love that, and we want to share this message, just coming from two chicks that love men and women. We're not, this isn't focused for one or the other. This is just trying to help everybody feel good in the moment, feel good in your day, feel good about you. Starting over with Gretchen and Camille. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much.
Bye.